Okay, so we have completed 2.9 where we started observing a pulse. Now, what we are going to do is we are also going to see, like you might have seen this in some of your garages or outside your home, that whenever a person crosses your home, or whenever a person crosses or comes in front of your home, the light automatically turns on. There will be a light that automatically turns on. How is this possible? If you give a thought about it, like, you will come to know that there is some kind of motion detector that is already there, inbuilt in that particular device or in that particular light. What this motion detector does is, in one particular range, if someone crosses or if someone passes through that particular range, it automatically triggers the light and the light automatically turns on, right? So that is the project that we are going to do today, right? So we have a sensor, and this sensor is called, note this down, this is 2.10. We have completed 2.9. I'm going to write it in the same notes. Just move this aside. 2.10. In 2.10, what we are going to do is we are going to build a circuit using motion detector. Motion. So the sensor that we are going to use, we started using sensors. The sensor that we are going to use now is called PIR sensor. What is PIR? The abbreviation of PIR is passive infrared. So this is the sensor most commonly used in motion detectors. So there are some motion detectors which can use either a passive infrared or a thermal sensor. So thermal sensors are the sensors which can detect the heat that is being emitted by a human body. So that depends on the use case, where exactly that you are, and do you want to use a thermal sensor or a passive infrared sensor. That totally depends on the person who is building that, and that totally depends on the need that you actually have. But for now, we are going to completely focus on what exactly this passive infrared sensor is and how can we use this. Let me show you how this works, right? So I have already made this circuit just to show you guys how this works. And when I start the simulation, you will see that there is no change in the circuit. This green thingy that you see is called PIR, or passive infrared sensor, right? So for you guys to see, understand how this works, is you have to click on the sensor, and it gives all the details of the sensor. Let me move this a little bit aside. And whenever the object is moving around or in front of this particular sensor, you see that the LED is on and it turns off, right? Like, say for example, I'm moving it here, right? You see LED is on. The moment the PIR notices or detects any kind of motion, the LED is on, right? That's the same thing, that's the same project that we are going to do. So for us to complete this project, let us open up a new Tinkercad. You guys have to follow the steps along with this video for you to complete this. So the assignment 8 will have both 2.9 and 2.10. Sorry, 2.8, 2.9 and 2.10 all together is called assignment 8. Okay, so for that you need to go and click on create new circuit. When you click on create new circuit, it is going to give you a random name, right? So just change the name to 2.10, name it as motion detector underscore. I'm gonna write my name. I want you guys to write your names. Okay. And this is one of, again, very simple project. All you need is an Arduino board. a breadboard. Maybe I'll keep it on top of this. Maybe it's a little bit small. Arduino board, a breadboard, and you're going to connect 5 volts to the positive, like how you actually do, and ground to the negative, right? So this one is going to be red. The second color is going to be black. Once you connect this, you would also need a PIR sensor or a passive infrared sensor. You just put it somewhere over here, right? And then you see that this must be going to the ground. Okay, I'm gonna connect it over here, pull it over here because it's ground. I'm gonna make it black. And the next one is power. Power is something that you would need 5 volts. So I'm gonna connect it over here and give it to 5 volts and make it red. And the third and the most important one is signal. So the signal will be connected to digital pin 2 or 3. I'm going to go with 3 at this point because it is closer to me. And I'm going to leave it as green. So whenever a motion is detected, what does it needs to do? It needs to light up an LED or it needs to light up a light. So for that reason, I would definitely need an LED. And for this LED, I'm going to connect a resistor that is going to the black. So that's on the same line as black. And I'm going to change the resistor value to 220, not kilo ohms. If it is kilo ohms, it might not work. Just put it ohms, 220 ohms. And then you take the anode and connect it to digital pin 13 and leave it as maybe blue color, right? So you see that the LED is now connected to digital pin 13. So the code, the algorithm for this is, if somebody is coming and standing or moving in front of this PIR sensor or this motion detector, I need to detect it and I need to make sure that the LED is on. So for me to do that, I need to start my code and delete the existing code, go to the variables and create a new variable and name it as, this time I'm going to name it as sensor state. The state of the sensor is a sensor state high or low, right? So I'll start with set sensor state to input read digital pin. Where is this sensor connected to? The signal is connected to digital pin 3, right? So I need to select the digital pin 3 and then if mm, if the sensor state value is equal to, there are two values. As you know that in a pulse you have high or you have low. So if the sensor state is equal to, go to math, you will find something called high. If the sensor state value is high, what should I do? I should make my LED glow. That means the output should be set digital pin. Where is my LED connected to? My LED is connected to digital pin 13. So I'm going to put set pin set digital pin 13 to high, else, that means if the sensor state is low, what should I do? I need to set the digital pin to low. That's all. if you see, the project is quite simple. So first you're reading the sensor state, whether somebody is moving in front of it or not. If somebody is moving in front of it, the sensor state is going to go high. That means you have a pulse. The moment you have a pulse, you're giving some voltage to your digital pin 13. And what is connected to digital pin 13? An LED light. So that means if somebody is in front of the sensor and moving in front of the sensor, your digital pin 13 is going to go high. That means your LED is going to go on. So that is what the project is about. So you click on code again, and now you move this a little down and start the simulation. And when you start the simulation, click on the sensor and you start moving this. Let me move this a little bit. When you click on the sensor, hold on, let me make this a little smaller so everything will be in one frame. Okay, so now there is no motion from this ball or from this round circular thingy. So that's the reason you see that LED is off. But the moment I move this in this particular range, you see that the LED is on. Now, there are many sensors where the accuracy is 100% or 95%, the efficiency is really good. But this depends on the amount of money that you are spending. Like in our school, we do have some PIR sensors that I bought last year, and I bought it around $8 and $10. I got a bunch of these PIR sensors. So these are not very accurate what we have it in our school. But when you go to the industrial grade, where you spend $60 or $70 in a PIR sensor, so those are the things that are extremely expensive. So now I want you to complete this project, understand this project, and then complete this, take screenshots and put it in your Google Sheets, and then you're going to turn it in as your assignment. Now I'm going to stop my recording.